Hi, welcome to our first TK1 update video regarding referencing. So this is a really interesting and useful feature we've introduced, which should allow you to kind of manage your references much more efficiently. I know it's been, after chatting to a number of volunteer managers, it's a real headache dealing with references, getting them sent off and, and the paperwork stored in some filing cabinet, and it's not really fit for the 21st century. So what we're trying to do is get everything online now, so you can store references against volunteers. The whole process is electronic. So when you create an opportunity, people can actually join the opportunity, and then it will request them to put in the details of the referee, and then it'll email the referees. The referee can fill out the questionnaire or the reference form. And then it will automatically be sent back and stored against the volunteer. So everything is stored within the system, no paperwork involved whatsoever, which I'm sure you'll be very happy to hear. So we're going to start off. The first thing you need to do when creating a reference is obviously create a reference form. So to do that, you need to be a super admin, so you get access to the black menu at the top. If you go down across the settings, then down to reference forms. And then we see we've got a number of kind of test reference forms that have been set up here. We click on the new reference form on the side menu. We enter in a name, so we'll call it Steve's reference form 3, because I've probably got a couple in there already. This level here, so this is to do with, you can set reference forms at different levels. So for example, if you had if it was an opportunity where the volunteer wasn't dealing with any kind of sensitive data, or it was something like litter picking in the park, but you still wanted to gather a reference, you might ask kind of quite simple questions. So the referee, how do you know this person? And kind of very basic information. If the volunteer or the opportunity was for something more sensitive or something at a higher level, maybe it was a volunteer manager role or something like that, then you may want to ask more detailed questions. So we deal with that by creating different levels for reference forms. The benefit behind doing it this way is, if for example I create a reference form which is a level 3, so I change that to level 3, then that means that any opportunity which, if I set the opportunity to a level 3 and a volunteer already has a level 3, then that's fine, no problem. They don't need to require a new one. It will automatically say, okay, we realize we've already got a level 3 reference form stored against you on the system, so it won't, they won't have to enter in any more referee details. That's the same as if the volunteer had a level 4, 5 or 6, anything higher than that level. Then we would say, okay, then these reference forms are submittable because we're asking for a level 3 and you've got something higher, you've got the same or higher level of reference form. But if the volunteer had a level 1 or 2, then we would say, no, this reference form, it doesn't capture enough information basically. So they would have to put in their referee's details again, and that would send out a new reference form. So what I'm going to do now is set this to make it a nice, easy reference. It's a level 1 reference form. Put in a description here of the form and click on the add button. That takes us on to the questions. So what questions do I want to enter in here? I might say, how do you know the volunteer? You can put in a free, could be a, this is the type, this is the format that the referee is going to answer that question in. So it could be a free text. It could be a drop-down list. So let's go for a drop-down list. I might put in friend, spell right, friend, relative, work, colleague, etc. Okay, so that's going to create a drop-down list with those 3 options in. Once I click on the add button, it takes me through to the next question. So this could be something like, I don't know, say something about the referee. Sorry, say something about the volunteer. Referee. Say something about the volunteer. Be free text. This number of lines here, this is how big the text box is going to appear to the referee. So I'm going to say again 3 lines there to enter in a bit of text. Is the answer required? If I say yes, then unless something's entered into that box, it will not let them submit the reference form. So it will not let the referee submit the reference form back onto the system. Click on the add button, and hey presto, we've got 2 questions now. So if I go back to my questions button on the side menu, I can see I've got the first question here, and I've got the second question here, and it's in red, showing that it's a mandatory field, so it has to be filled out. That's the first stage. Now once we've got our reference form, so Steve's reference form 3, once we've got that set up, the next stage is we want to attach that to an opportunity. So we want to create an opportunity and say, okay, then for this opportunity, anybody who joins it, they need to have a reference form, this reference form in particular. So I'm going to show you now how to do that. Okay, so now we go to create the opportunity. Back to our, now normal admins can obviously create the opportunities, same as providers as well. So we go to create opportunity. I'm sure you know how to do this bit. Choose a provider. I'm going to choose James as the provider name. Put some details. Reference form opportunity. Put some details here. Put in the address, and where it says, go down here. Not expenses, joining options. So under the joining options section, we've got ask for references when joining. If I change that option to yes, you see it says number of references. I'm saying, okay, for this opportunity, I'm only going to require 1 reference. The minimum reference level is level 1. And that will give me a choice of level 1 or above reference forms. And I'm going to say my preferred reference form is Steve reference form 3. Go down here and create the opportunity now. Do this as a flexible opportunity. Closing date's tomorrow, and the starting date is the day after. It's a very quick turnaround, this one. And it goes on for a week. And add the opportunity. Okay, so once that's added, then the next thing we need to do is go in as a volunteer and join the opportunity. So what I'm going to do is quickly authorize the opportunity. Go to volunteer management, find volunteers, search my volunteers list, go down here and choose a volunteer. So I'm going to choose Susie O'Shea. I'm going to impersonate her. So I'm now logged in as a volunteer. I'm going to try and join this opportunity. Find it first, search button. Reference form opportunity, there we go. Okay, and when I go to join the opportunity, it comes up with a message. This opportunity has prerequisites. Please provide 1 references at level 1. So the referee name could be, call it Joe Blogs, and the referee email address is going to be scan@teamkinetic.co.uk. Click on save. Okay, now once I've put in those details, it then allows the volunteer to actually join the opportunity. Now at this stage, they've not been accepted on the opportunity, but it would have sent the form off to the referee, and they are linked to the opportunity, kind of suspended against the opportunity, if that makes sense. So it's waiting for the reference form to be sent back and that to be kind of authorized from the administrator. So the next stage is check. The referee will receive that email. I'll show you that now. So here is the email that the referee has received. Kind of nicely, lightly worded email asking them to complete the reference. Click on the link, and that opens up the reference form. Select how they know the person. It's a relative. Say something about the volunteer. Yeah, very good. Yeah, very nice. There we go. Click on save button. and that's going to send that details now back to the Team Kinetic system and attach it to that volunteer. So if I go back to the system here, so I'm logged in now as the super admin here. Go back to my just normal admin menu, volunteer management, down to references. And we see now it would have previously been in the incomplete, but because the referee's completed the form, it's going to be in awaiting approval now. So Susie O'Shea, Steve's reference form 3. Click on the review and approve. Okay, so we can see the answers here. I'm quite happy with that. Click on approve, and that's it. That will send an email through to the volunteer saying it's been approved, and the person will be accepted onto the system. Now this reference form, like I say, any future opportunities that this volunteer tries to join, that Susie O'Shea tries to join, which require a level 1 reference form, she won't have to send them off again. It will automatically say that, okay, you've already got a reference form at this level, so which is acceptable. So it really reduces referees from getting multiple requests for reference forms for the same volunteer. So on this side menu here, we've also got the search button, which allows us to search for any kind of references. If I put in Susie O'Shea, there you go, and it's Joe Bloggs was the referee, remember, and I can see what reference forms are attached to that particular volunteer. Also, if I go into the Find Volunteers page and I search for Susie O'Shea, I can see what reference forms are held against Susie. So if I look down here, references, there we are, see the reference form there, and I can view it in a bit more detail if I want to. Yeah. Okay, so I hope that's useful. As always, if you have any questions regarding this function, then feel free to raise a support ticket or just drop us an email. I'll be happy to answer them. There will also be some Facebook kind of live videos or kind of webcasts that we'll be doing over the next few weeks, and one of the first ones we'll be doing will be references. So feel free to kind of join in with that, and we'll be happy to answer your questions as part of that webcast.